Good evening. This is Sunday Express on KBC Channel 1, being the 26th of March 2023. I am Regina. Manyara. Top on our stories tonight, we're going to be addressing the issue of the protest, as Raila maintains that the protests are on and government has outlawed those particular protests. And in our candid conversation, we're going to be looking at challenges facing adolescents and what private sector as well as government is doing to address them. But first things first, the highlights. No demos. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki outlaws Monday's planned protests and proposes far-reaching amendments to the Public Order Act. A defiant opposition. Azimio leader Raila Odinga maintains that demos are on. And a mother's rage. A woman turns on her 3 children in Kikuyu, Kiambu County. Good evening, I'm Regina Manyara, and our sign language interpreter tonight is none other than Byron Abuli. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki says Monday's planned anti-government protest by the Azimio la Umoja coalition is illegal, and anyone planning to cause chaos will be dealt with in accordance with the law. Kindiki is further proposing amendments to the Public Order Act to regulate demonstrations and hold organizers accountable for injuries inflicted on persons, as well as compensation for property damaged during the demonstrations.
The Ministry of Interior is proposing far-reaching amendments to the law to limit the provisions of Article 37 of the Constitution regarding the rights to peaceful assembly and picketing. In response to last Monday's demonstrations that stretched from the city centre to Juja Road, Kindiki says it is not feasible for law enforcement agencies to allow masses to roam the streets and neighbourhoods of their choice. The CS is also proposing that the law be amended to change notification procedures to include consent to be sought by picketers from persons whose activities are likely to be affected by the demonstrations. Kindiki also wants Zone 4 assembly, demos, picketing and petitions demarcated. Also among the proposal is the limitation of the number of participants in the demonstrations at any particular sessions. Picketers will also be required to foot the cost of cleanup thereafter. The proposals by Kindiki come even as the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, reiterated that Monday's mass action by Azimio remains illegal.
Koome
urged Kenyans to go on freely with their lawful activities, saying police remain steadfast in their duty to serve and protect without intimidations.
Well, now you stand guided in regard to the said protest. At the same time, Azimio One Kenya leader Raila Odinga has dared the police to arrest him when he leads the second round of mass protests tomorrow, Monday. Addressing faithful at Jesus Teaching Ministry in Nairobi, Raila called on all Kenyans who are feeling the pinch of the high cost of living to turn out for demonstrations on Monday and Thursday.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Brigade sought divine intervention at Jesus Teaching Ministry in Nairobi ahead of the second round of mass protests against the government on Monday. The opposition dismissed the declaration by the Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, that outlawed the demos.
Let me tell you, Mr. Koome, that the rights which are enshrined in the Constitution, which Kenyans fought for, are not favors. They are not favors from any particular person or authority. We have complied with the law. And the law that is supreme in this country is our Constitution. Article 37 yatupa sisi haki kama Wakenya kuweza kufanya maandamano haya. Lakini tunapeana notisi kwa polisi tu ili polisi waje walinde usalama.
Kwa hivyo ile tumetoa ni notisi, sio ruksa tumewauliza. Wewe police inspector, IG, Hatujakuuliza ruhusa, huna ruhusa unaweza kutupatia?
Hiyo maandamano tunafanya ni maandamano ya amani na sheria imekubali. Bwana koma kabisa kesho. Usilete fujo. Wewe koma. Usilete fujo. Usilete vurugu.
Article 37 of the Constitution states every person has the right, peaceably and unarmed, to assemble, to demonstrate, to picket, and to present petitions to public authorities. The Azimio leaders have dared the police to arrest them on Monday if picketing amounts to lawlessness.
Kesho umesema unaweza kutuweka pingu sisi viongozi. Njoo uniweke pingu. Kesho itakuwa ni siku yako. Kesho itakuwa ni siku yako kuniweka pingu bure bila makosa yoyote. Lakini ujue siku yako itakuja. Wewe utawekwa pingu kwa ile makosa utafanya kesho. Sio bure.
Unasema ati utaweza kushika kila mtu. Mimi niko tayari. Nitakuwa kwenye mstari ya mbele. Bwana Kome, hapana tuma askari, njoo wewe mwenyewe tuonane na mimi. Ana kwa ana.
The Raila-led coalition party wants the government to lower the cost of living, open the IEBC servers, and stop the ongoing recruitment of IEBC commissioners. Geshoke Washira, Sunday Express.
Traders in part of the country say they are looking at depressed business and losses amounting to millions of shillings if the opposition makes true its planned demos slated for Monday and Thursday. Speaking to Kenya Broadcasting Corporation on Sunday, many traders said their businesses will remain closed on Monday to avoid being caught up in the ensuing mayhem, such as one witnessed last week.
The city, Nairobi, the date 26th March 2023. Tomorrow being a Monday, we want to find out what businesses have for us in the next 24 hours. Will they open? Will they close? What are the customer sentiment out there? We'll find out as we go out and do a spot check here in Nairobi City.
A city bustling with activity. A state which may change in the next few hours due to political uncertainties. According to the Nairobi County government, the county suffered a loss of about 40 million shillings in infrastructural damages because of protests that took place on Monday the 20th, with the national government announcing that the country lost about 2 billion shillings cumulatively. Traders are wary that history might repeat itself this Monday.
Sasa mimi nitoke nje, si nikae tu, nilale tu, siku iende tu. Ivundo sisi wakali tunakula ile umeenda umetafuta ndio unakula.
Nasema kesho ni 50-50 kwa sababu kama ni kufungua kesho, actually ni afadhali mtu relax kwa nyumba.
Hii maandamano imeleta shida kubwa sana Kama sisi kama Nairobi County tunapoteza pesa mingi sana kwa sababu wafanyikazi wasipokuja hapa kazi, hata sisi tutapata pesa ya mshahara yetu.
From small businesses to large ones, there's a sense of great apprehension, with customers calling on fellow Kenyans to help tone down the tension.
Juzi Mheshimiwa Rais alikuwa Kisii, akakuwa Kisumu, akasema sisi watu wa mboga tukuuza mboga, tukufanya biashara, na kweli tukufanya. Lakini yeye ndio akona uwezo ya kusimamisha hiyo maandamano. Yeye ndio akona uwezo ya kuongea na Raila wafanye nini, waelewane.
For those of you who have jitters of tomorrow that businesses might be closed, there might be some hope because some of them are telling us that they have nothing to fear.
Business, as it turns out, is too tasty to let go.
The demonstrations, we are not bothered with that. We are continuing with our normal businesses and activities.
Tuko tu tayari kufanya kazi. Kazi lazima tufanye kwa sababu sisi vijana tunataka kufanya kazi. Lakini sasa hii mambo pia
They are not alone. Not one nor two. Others are of the opinion that staying away sends the wrong message.
Na mteja wote asiogope, hata mimi siogopi. Itafungua kama kawaida. Hata wiki hiyo ingine iliisha Monday. Nilifungua kama kawaida.
Representatives from some of the major retailers in the country who sought anonymity told us that they will open but monitor the situation as it unfolds.
From our exploits here in the city of Nairobi, we've seen that there's a 50-50 chance that businesses might open, from small businesses to medium-sized businesses to even large ones. They tell us that jitters from last week may also creep in into this new week. Alan Aoko, Sunday Express.
Indeed, thank you very much, Alan Aoko, for that particular spot check on how business was on Sunday. And exactly as he said, is that it's a likelihood, 50-50 likelihood, that either businesses will open and monitor the situation, or some might opt not to. But a quick reminder is, at the end of the day, it all lies on the decision that you make as an individual. Will you participate in the protests? Will you open up your business? Will you be safe? Will you adhere to what the government has said in regard to matters of security and the said protests? Time will tell. It's less than 12 hours to Monday. Now, religious leaders have appealed to President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga to dialogue with a view of cooling down political temperatures in the country. The Catholic bishops say the country is already facing economic challenges, and the protests held by the opposition may worsen the situation. But as Kamche Menza reports, a section of leaders allied to the ruling coalition has dismissed calls for dialogue, arguing that the president was legitimately elected into office.
Catholic bishops on Sunday reiterated their call to the two leaders to hold talks to end the ongoing political stalemate.
We believe that the sitting and dialogue can resolve this dangerous standoff. The two need to establish a common ground to address the ills facing the country and restore the sanity we need in our country.
The bishops want the opposition to call off their planned demos because they are costly to Kenya's economy.
The fact that it is legal to demonstrate should not make it a vehicle to paralyze the country, nor degenerate to a forceful takeover of legitimate government.
But a section of leaders drawn from Kenya Kwanza want the religious leaders to stop their calls for dialogue between President William Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga.
I want to challenge our spiritual leaders, our bishops. Let us be truthful to Kenyans. Let us advise Raila to be honest, to be truthful, and humble himself before God and before Kenyans, and respect the elected President of the Republic of Kenya.
The leaders argue that the opposition protest cannot lower the cost of living.
If you have a problem, go back to Supreme Court and address your issues in a legal manner, in a manner that it is respectable for this country, not going to street.
Both parties, however, called on Kenyans to maintain peace and order.
President William Ruto has started his 4-day official visit to Germany this evening, and during the visit, the president will engage with the leadership of the European Union in a meeting aimed at reinforcing Kenya's commitment to the Kenya-EU strategic dialogue to deepen the partnership between the country and the Union. The head of state will also deliver a keynote address at the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue, outlining the challenges of energy security amidst the worsening climate change crisis and the push for investments in renewable energy in Kenya and Africa. Kenya's ambassador to Germany, Tom Amola, said the visit would boost Kenya's standing as a destination for foreign direct investments.
He will also have an opportunity to engage the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Olaf Scholz, where they'll go into the nitty-gritties: trade, health, education, TVET, agriculture, climate change. How do we elevate the climate partnership agreement to a level which can blossom?
Police in Kikuyu constituency, Kiambu County, are holding in custody a woman said to have killed her 3 daughters, aged 4 years, 3 years and 6 months on Saturday evening. The 29-year-old woman from the Goto village is said to have thereafter attempted to commit suicide. And in Meru, a man is suspected of killing his wife and their 5-year-old son.
Residents of Thogoto village in Kikuyu were shocked and saddened by the heinous act of this 29-year-old woman who is said to have killed her 3 children on Saturday evening. The father to the girls, aged 4 years, 3 years and 6 months, who is said to have been working on a night shift on the fateful day, was unable to hold back tears. Neighbors say a big thud from the house is what attracted their attention.
Ile kitu ya kwanza tuligundua watoto wake wanakuwa very friendly to us. So ukifungua mlango tu kwanza wakisikia ni kama ni shosho wanakibiaga wanakukumbatia. Sasa hatukupata mtoto hata mmoja.
The subsequent abnormal silence from the ever jovial girls as described by the neighbors, even raising more questions.
Sasa mimi nikakibia kutafuta watoto. Kufika tu kwa bedroom, kumbe watoto wameraswa already, watoto walikuwa baridi.
The cause of the wicked act is yet to be established, as neighbors described the woman an introvert. Kikuyu Sub-County Police Commander Ronald Kiroi confirmed the killings, saying investigation has been launched.
The mother wanted to take her life, but luckily the neighbors came to rescue her, and we have her in our custody. She's going to tell us more about what transpired. But from the preliminary investigation, we believe that this is likely to have been a family conflict.
Bodies of the 3 girls have been taken to Thogoto PCA mortuary awaiting post-mortem. Meanwhile, a 39-year-old woman and her 5-year-old son were found killed in Mitungu area in Menti South in Meru County. The woman's husband is suspected to be behind both murders. Meru Deputy County Commissioner Richard Kongeren confirmed the murders.
Vile bwanake alikuwa mhubiri, pastor, na hao watu wameishi miaka 2, isipokuwa mwanzo wa mwaka huu walikuwa na issues ya kifamilia, na maoni ya papake ilikuwa kwamba watengane, kila mtu aishi kivyake. Lakini kufikia mwezi mmoja uliopita walirudiana pia.
Quite unfortunate there. Begs the question, has life become priceless? It is priceless. Now there's a tag to it, especially where children are concerned. On that note, we take a quick breather. We'll be back with more news, and also stay tuned for our candid conversation tonight, where we talk about capacity building targeting teenagers amid challenges faced by adolescents.
Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological debates and concepts. Let us assume we have a young innovator who has come up with an app.
Financial technology and financial services is a very complex game.
Keeping you up to date with the latest tech news both locally and internationally. Apple has lost its position as the most valuable firm amid tech sellers. We also explore different innovations by our very own young innovators. Make sure you don't miss. Tune in every Monday at 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
He is a fool who has lost sight of what matters. Manta rabaina wahka kaban. Manta werarena.
Huyu contact. Ni msichana umekuwa kitext.
Sir, contact ni contact.
Not if you're making it personal.
Jamaa, kila saa ni kunyambisha. Nini? Suseme.
watajua kwa nini kachumbari haipashwi moto.
Our transport has been compromised. Me and my team have hit an ID.
Hii ni rescue mission. Kuna police vehicle imechapwa na ID. It's a very simple mission. But stay alert.
Hizi ng'ombe zinachungwa na nani?
Good evening. This is Sunday Express. Now, the bodies of a police officer and a coxswain who were among the 3 people who drowned after the Kenya Revenue Authority boat capsized at Mugabo Beach in Nyatike sub-county 3 days ago have been retrieved. Migori County Police Commander Mark Wanjala says the body of the officer was found on Sunday by fishermen, while that of the coxswain was retrieved by the officers from the Kenya Coast Guard, who have been conducting the search since Thursday night. The county police commander added that he is optimistic that the remaining body of the other police officer who was in the ill-fated boat will be retrieved.
Wameweza kupata miili 2, moja ilipatikana 6:30 na wale wavuvi walikuwa wanaenda kuvua samaki. Hii mwili ingine ya coxswain ikapatikana na divers wale walikuwa wametoka Mombasa kuja kutafuta hiyo mwili. So bado mwili moja haijapatikana, na kulingana na weather wamesuspend mpaka kesho tena ndio wataweza kutafuta hiyo mwili imebaki.
Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization and the Ministry of State Department of Environment and Climate Change are working in partnership to come up with ways to mitigate the biting drought experience in Kilifi County. Now, speaking during a public awareness forum in Mtwapa, where they planted 2,000 seedlings, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Environment and Climate Change, Festus Ngeno, said it is in the best interest of residents to embrace the culture of planting trees in a bid to mitigate climate change.
Smarting from the long dry spell, the government is moving swiftly to put in place measures that will protect Kenyans against future vagaries of weather. For a country that is known for either extreme investment in drought-resistant crops has been tipped as a gateway of food security in parts such as Kilifi County. The Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization says it is keen on ensuring farmers are well equipped for any eventuality long after the current rainy season.
We actually classified over 1,000 technologies of CalRO for climate smartness, and this classification is looking at mitigation, adaptation, and productivity.
We will be advising you from time to time. We'll be issuing advisories so that we are all adequately prepared as we observe the season.
Kilifi County Deputy Governor Flora Chibule says the empowerment of local farmers will go a long way in making the region food secure.
Hapa tunazidi kujizatiti kuambia wakulima wetu na wale watu wa mashinani waache kukata miti. Manake kwa ajili ya umaskini miti inakatwa kule, wauze makaa. Lakini tumeona imechangia pakubwa ya kwamba tuna uhaba wa mvua. Na hilo ni jambo tunalichukua na tunaweza kuzungumza hata huko mashinani.
Kilifi County is among the regions that have been hardest hit by the lengthy dry spell. To ensure that the current rainy season does not go to waste, locals are encouraged to plant trees to make the region fertile for crop farming.
Kila mtu tu akipanda 30 trees per year. I'm told within the 10 years horizon that we plan 15 billion tutakuwa tumehitimisha. And that helps us in terms of climate change mitigation and adaptation programs. Ndio tuweze kupata mvua mzuri, tupate maji mingi na tuweze kupata chakula kwa watu wetu.
For Sunday Express from Kilifi County, I am Anboro.
Now, across the counties is at the Jaffa Foundation, in conjunction with Grain Bulk Handlers Limited in Mombasa County, has donated food worth 150 million shillings to cushion the less fortunate members of society and needy Muslims during this holy month of Ramadan. Details of this and other stories from the counties.
Just a few days into the holy month of Ramadan, thousands of less fortunate people in Mombasa County have benefited from a food donation program courtesy of Jaffa Foundation and Grain Bulk Handlers Limited.
This humble contribution will assist a family of an average size of 4 people in the households to survive for approximately a month.
In Muranga, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndini Nyoro has lauded the labor-based model in implementing Constituency Development Fund projects, saying that it reduces cost of projects by about 40%.
It is a very good model, and value for money is visible in terms of what we do, and we are happy that even many constituencies are adopting that route, not necessarily to cut costs, but also making sure that the money that is being expended actually goes to the pockets of the people within the locality of the project.
Over 2,000 Kikuyu elders from Kiama in Kiambu County have faulted the Supreme Court ruling on same-sex relationships. They threatened to conduct a ritual ceremony in denouncing the ruling.
Tutaenda kufanya tabiko kule kwa Mugumo ili hiyo maneno ishe, na tuwaombe hata wengine wakikufa ni sawasawa. Huwezi inama jioni ati kazi yako ni kuolewa na mwanaume. Hiyo mambo tumemaliza na hatutaki.
Elsewhere, real estate players have formed an association to weed out fraudsters in a bid to restore sanity in the sector. This comes amidst the rising cases of Kenyans being conned by fraudulent land buying companies.
This is what we eat, this is our business, and we cannot just sit back and see fraudsters destroying our business. So we have formed that association. Soon it will be rolled out, and the buyer and the seller.
Elsewhere, cooperative societies have been urged to reduce interest on loans as a way of meeting the expectations of members. Speaking in Kericho County during the 34th annual delegates meeting for Imarisha Sacco, Commissioner of Cooperatives David Obonyo said cooperatives should not be excited about huge dividends for shareholders.
We are also very keen to ensure that we are putting in place the necessary mechanism, especially legal framework, policy, and other regulatory framework to ensure that our cooperatives, they are able to thrive to the next level of development.
Still on SACCOs, Lompasago Ushirika Savings and Credit Cooperative Society has announced a dividend of 7% interest on deposit and a 12% interest on share capital. The SACCO's chairperson Bernard Ngujiri noted that the cooperative subsector had become very competitive.
We are still doing more recruitment because ideally when COVID came, most of the printers, knowing that the school closed, were sacked or their jobs closed down.
And that's why we are having this circle that is meant for the small income earners who are coming together to pull their resources together so that they can grow from one level to another too.
Finally, Sauti Mashinani pastors convened at Kanjogu Primary School in Madira constituency, where they mobilized residents of Wariluta location in planting more than 1,000 trees in the school and its environs.
Tunawauliza hii miti tunapoenda kuipanda, amani ipandike ndani ya roho zetu na ipandike mpaka kwa watu wa opposition. Wakati tunaona ya kwamba wanaandamana na vitu zinaharibika za wanabiashara na wengine wanaumia, sio mapenzi yetu.
Arnold Feather for Sunday Express.
Now, as we take another break, is just to remind you that Kenya's Harambee Stars is going to be squaring it out with Iran come Tuesday. Danilo Home is in studio, and he brings you that and so much more from the sporting world in not too long. Do not go away.
moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2,000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We'll let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened. Bah!
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta
do. Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Kurumisha ndege.
Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sunday Express Sport. 2021 Sapporo Half Marathon champion Hilary Kipkoech and Ethiopia's Zewditu Adero are the winners of the Madrid Half Marathon. Meanwhile, German Amanal Petros and Croatia's Pavlov Kostro emerged victorious at the 31st edition of the Hanover Marathon.
After the 5-kilometer mark, a pack of 5 men was leading with Kipkoech nowhere near them. He, however, charged up at the 10-kilometer mark, and the 24-year-old was keen on closing into the leading pack. As they were passing the 15-kilometer mark, Kipkoech looked composed and ready to go for the title. At the 18-kilometer mark, Kipkoech distanced himself from the pack and sprinted to the finish line, clocking 59 minutes and 56 seconds. Ethiopian duo Tadesse Bikila and Tesema Mokenin completed the podium dash. Meanwhile, the women's race was a disappointing outing for the Kenyan contingent as Ethiopians swept the podium. Zawiditu Andereu won the race ahead of compatriots Alemitu Tariku and Yanadis Teshome, who came in second and third respectively.
Now moving on is that the national football team, the Harambee Stars, left the country this morning ahead of their international friendly against Iran on Tuesday this coming week in Tehran. Stars travel to Tehran for the match as they make their first comeback on the international stage since they played against Rwanda in November 2021.
Stars will be using the match to prepare for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers set to kick off in 2025 and the forthcoming international friendlies. The match will be Kenya's first international encounter in 16 months and will be Engin Firat's 5th match in charge since being appointed in September 2021. It will be the first time in several years that Kenya is facing a team which is ranked top 30 in the FIFA standing. The Kenyan contingent has 24 players, including striker Masud Juma, who passed a late fitness test.
We expect that to see very good match, no matter who is going to win, but the matter is they have very good play and fair play, and I'm sure it's very good for both sides to get good experiences out of that match.
Harambee Stars have had a one-week intensive training at Kasarani Stadium ahead of the international assignment.
Now, the match between Kenya and Iran will be played on Tuesday at 7 p.m. East African time. Now, Otada Paradiso and Hindu Swaya Msevrevak. Coco teams were among the teams that qualified for the semi-finals of the Coco Competition Championships held today at the Premier Club in Nairobi. Meanwhile, over 15 teams took part in the Red Bull Football Challenge held at the Sikh Union Club to select 3 teams that will qualify for a grand finale tournament slated for the 13th of May this year in Germany.
Utade Coco team dominated their opponents to back crucial point after registering 10-0 back-to-back wins over Kiten Highway Coco teams.
We've been training, we've done training in the morning also, and I know we are going to win. We're going to win.
Because of that, training, commitment, na hard work. You know it later hapa. Because practice makes perfect.
Kenya Coco Federation President Kanti Asani noted that they have put in place proper strategies to introduce the game in grassroots levels.
Currently, we want these games to be much growing in primary schools, secondary schools, university and higher to the university levels and national levels. We still need to be doing monthly series. We want to take it to East African level, we want to take it Africa level and national level so that we'll be having tournaments so we don't just be idlers.
The tournament brought together over 300 players with the overall winners bagging trophies and medals. Meanwhile, Blue Lock, Madaraka All-Stars and Dreamers FC qualified for round of 16 of the Red Bull Football Challenge, which was held Sunday at Sikh Union. Madaraka All-Stars produced stellar performance in their first match, trouncing Blue Lock 8-0 and Mark Dons 2-0 to settle in the second position.
We came prepared because we know guys are looking at us because we are previous winners. So we expect a tough competition from the other teams.
They're only girls and most of them are boys, so it's not easy. But we're trying our hardest to not get scored.
3 teams will be selected to take part in the grand finale tournament slated for 13th May this year in Germany. King Orimwangi for Sunday Express.
Now moving on is that All Saints High School are the new champions of the 15-a-side rugby after humiliating Kangaroo High School 11 points to 6 in the first Inter-High School Kenya Secondary School Sports Association Championships held in Embu. Meanwhile, the 4th leg of the Junior Golf Foundation US Kids Tournament was cancelled over the weekend due to the heavy rains that pounded Nairobi since Friday.
Despite the huge fan support by fellow colleagues who were full of excitement, Kangaroo could not withstand the professionalism of All Saints, who exceeded their tactics. Kangaroo players said to swallow their pride and accept the results while vowing to fight back and give a good performance when they play at the regions to be held in Meru County early next month. In 2019, Kangaroo School represented the Kenyan nation in the East African Schools Championships under coach Ben Mwenda, who is currently the All Saints coach.
Ilikuwa hard hapo sub-county kidogo, and then we went back to the drawing board where things hazikuwa zina work. We managed to work them better today. And within a few days we managed to make things look clear.
Kuongea ukweli, tufeel vizuri tumepigiwa hapa kwetu. Nukweli tumepigiwa hapa kwetu. Hiyo si mzuri lakini tangangana.
Meanwhile, the 4th leg of the Junior Golf Tournament was cancelled over the weekend due to the heavy rains that pounded Nairobi since Friday. 149 junior players were in the draw for the tournament at the current country club, but the overnight rains did not allow any player to tee off. The Junior Golf Foundation President Regina confirmed talks are underway to find a new date, possibly a Saturday or a Sunday, or any other day during the school holidays.
The reason why we cancelled is we had spoken to the captain and his course management team went out and it was noted that a lot of areas were flooded and we did not see that to be a good environment for the juniors to play. So we have postponed the tournament to another date that will be convenient for the juniors.
For Sunday Express, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
I'll tell you this, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. you can get to listen to Junior Golf Federation President Regina speaking about the juniors and the All-Africa Junior Golf Challenge that's going to be taking place in Uganda. The team has been selected. She'll be there. Join us at bright and early at 10 a.m. on Sports Check tomorrow on KBC Channel 1. Now, across our borders is that the Atlantic Lions of Morocco stand Brazil 2-1 in an international friendly as the North African side recorded a first ever win over the 5-time world champions. Abdelhamid Sabiri struck the winner for Morocco in the 79th minute.
Dani Olmo scored the opener at the Malaga's La Rosaleda Stadium, turning home Ali Jadros Bal's cutback. Joselu scored 2 late goals in under 2 minutes to seal victory for Luis de la Fuente in his first outing as Spanish boss. Following the win, Spain topped Group A alongside Scotland, who beat Cyprus 3-0. In another match, debutant Nathan Broadhill secured a point for Wales with an injury time equalizer in their opening Euro 2024 qualifier against Croatia. Tonight, England take on Ukraine as Italy play Malta. Meanwhile, Morocco stand Brazil 2-1 in an international friendly as the North African side recorded a first ever win over 5-time world champions. Midfielder Sofiane Boufal gave Morocco the lead in the 29th minute before Brazil's Kepa Casemiro leveled in the 67th minute. Abdelhamid Sabiri struck the winner in the 79th minute.
Big Amrabat on the hand. Referee, I think, thought about giving a free kick, but Brazil have the ball and Lucas Paqueta sends it wide. Oh, and Yassine Bono's made a horrible error, and Casemiro has equalised for Brazil. The goalkeeper's had a shocker. Ziyech. Masraoui's made a forward run. Ziyech has found him. Imran Louza's there for Morocco. His little click cross is a really good one. Well defended by a combination of Emerson and Eder Militao. Went back by Atiat Allah. Great ball in, and the shot is in from Sabiri.
Well, that's the sport for tonight. Thank you for being with us on Sunday Express Sport. Tomorrow morning, bright and early at 10 a.m., we talk about golf. I've mentioned about that, but also Benjamin Ayimba. There's a tournament to honor him, and it's going to be taking place in Machakos County over the Easter weekend. So those conversations tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And right now, I want to hand you back to over to Regina Manyara and Mary Magubo. Adolescent health expert, Ministry of Health is going to be talking about adolescence and its challenges. It's something that we've got to deal with every day. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a good evening. Back to you, Regina.
Was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Biggest odds in the world every day on selected matches. Make a decision. Mozart Bet.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Kupata kumpenda mtu kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza star 812 star 501 hash.
Mapenzi si kumpenda mtu kwa kuwa amekamilika, kwani nawe pia una mapungufu yako. Kwa hivyo mapenzi ni kumpenda mtu na mapungufu yake.
Kupata kumpenda mtu, bonyeza star 812 star 501 hash. Star 812 star 501 hash.
Unajua nikionanga mtoto ya shule anasurura hivi na uniform, wakati ki watoto wengine kwa klasa anasoma na sikiana jamu kwa. Unafanya nini hapa na wengine kwa kusoma?
Tafuta baba yangu.
Baba yako gani kwa hapa anakufanana?
Tunakutana pale na mtu mwingine kwa hoteli. Ananiongelesha vibaya.
Nani anakuongelesha pale? Hujamwambia wewe ni mtoto wangu?
Hajui.
Hajui? Atajua ndio atajua mimi na nani.
Unafikiria mimi mwenyewe nimefurahi kukuona? Mimi ningejuaje ni wewe ndio unakuja hapa? Hata ningejua ni wewe singeshinda nikingangana ati kwa simu na kuongelesha bwana. Unasikia umeniwestia time hata mimi.
Aya, kinachokuchekesha.
Everyone, from today on, all the luxury brands you see in Immortal can now be found and purchased directly from L Shop.
Just now, I lost control.
That doesn't matter. Just try to shake it off.
Why are you playing this song for me?
What?
Stop coming up with lame excuses to lie to me.
Oh, Mr. Bai.
Do you have any interest in writing some articles?
Huh?
I told you before. You're just like my childhood friend.
Every Monday evening, we take you back where the action happened live. We'll let you know what you missed, even if you were present.
And our goal is to continue supporting our own.
From the latest celebrity buzz,
fashion,
music,
and all manner of youth talents,
the Grapevine cameras rove all week to bring you the latest in the enormous entertainment scene.
Watch Grapevine every Monday at 10 p.m. and the rerun on Tuesday at 2 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1, baby.
Engage us on Facebook and Twitter, #Grapevine on KBC. Let us know what is happening in your area code, because you know what they say, if you did not see it on Grapevine,
then it most probably never happened.
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do.
Now, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, as well as social phobias are just some of the mental health disorders that are faced by teens or teenagers in the country. Tonight, we talk about adolescence and its challenges, looking at the interventions that have been made to increase capacity of this particular demographic that has been pegged as the future leaders of tomorrow. Taking us through this conversation is none other than Mary Magubo, who is an adolescent health expert at the Ministry of Health. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Now let's start off at that point. From where you sit, when you talk about adolescence, it's an in-between transition, so to speak.
Yeah.
Top of your mind, what are the main challenges that are faced by this demographic?
So adolescent is a transition age between 10 to 24, according to the World Health Organization, and you find these are children that are facing a lot of challenges, especially teenage pregnancy, sexual gender-based violence. We've talked about eating disorders, negligence from the parents, social media influence, peer pressure, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. There are so many. But in health, we tend to focus on issues to do with the teenage pregnancy, HIV, STIs, all those things, because one issue will lead to another. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as we speak, the country was actually shocked by a report that was released, I think, from the Ministry of Health, mm-hmm. as well as various counties in regard to the issue of teenage pregnancies. Mm. The numbers were shocking, a shocking revelation. But what interventions have been put in place by government to ensure that we never have to have such statistics on teenage pregnancies in the near future?
Yeah, so most of these children, I'm calling them children because they are minors, most of them are under 18. You find that they don't have the right information. So the ministry has taken up, and we've developed a booklet called Adolescent, Understanding Adolescents, this one, which is a guide for adolescents, all the adolescents, and every adolescent in this country needs to have this copy, so that then they can
have knowledge, discuss the topics that are in this booklet, and of course, if they have any question, they can always contact their parents, or if they're trusted teachers and parents to be able to get more information about what they want.
Where would one get a copy?
We have a few copies at the ministry, but we urge all the counties to try and get copies for their schools. Because we had a launch in Kenya High last year. This book was done in 2022. It's very brand new, and the first launch we did in Kenya High, and we had around 5,000 copies, and we gave them to the children in Kenya High and the schools in Nairobi, like Alliance, Starehe. Yeah, so each county needs to do that dissemination and also print these copies for their schools.
And is it free?
It's free. It's not for sale, it's free. Yeah.
So you've said print. Is there a way, can we get it from the website? You see in this page, is it available online?
Yeah, it's online. But again, you find like the children in the village, I don't know how many can access phones and computers to be able to read. So hard copies are also good, but for those who can access online, they can get them in our website. Ministry of Health, Department of Family Health.
Take us through, if I was to buy it for myself as a parent, is it just targeting adolescents, or is it even
You're
targeting?
actually not buying. If you want maybe to, like maybe, I'm sure you went to a school in Kenya and you want maybe to sponsor those children, you can print for them and take to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the content?
Because it's a government document.
What is the content?
The content, we have issues to do, like an example I want to give you quickly is like sexual gender-based violence. You see, this document it's youth-friendly, it's age appropriate. So we've just given them a few information on what they're supposed to do. Like when you are raped, what are you supposed to do? When you are defiled, what are you supposed to do? The first thing, don't shower. Inform your trusted person, your trusted parent, teacher about the information, because most of them, again, they are threatened, they should not report. So they'll get to know what they're supposed to do immediately, like do not shower and report, and then seek medical information and seek medical attention in the health facility, so that you're given like the drugs that can prevent HIV and pregnancy. Yeah.
We have seen the society more or less has been, we've talked about sex education, it is termed as taboo. From where you sit now, we have a publication that is actually outlining, what we need to know. But then these conversations, these candid conversations are missing out on a majority of platforms. From where you sit as a Ministry of Health, what are you doing to increase, this conversation around, sexual reproductive health and such? Because as we say, information is key.
Yeah, as I've said, we try, of course, to also talk to the parents, because we've realized the parents also don't have, like, they don't know how to start the conversations. Like me, I have an adolescent, and it wasn't easier for me to start that conversation, because they want to know, can they have a boyfriend? Like, sexuality education is wide. Even teaching your child how to wipe themselves from back to, it's supposed to be from front to back. Because some will do it from back to front, and they get infection, they get UTIs, they're supposed to change their pads. That's sexuality education. It's very wide, and that's why we tell them to use the age appropriate, because if a child is 5 years, there is information that you need to give them. If they are 12 years, it's different. If they are 17, it's different. So we realize that also the parents, they don't know how to do it, they don't have the information, it's very wide. And we've also done a similar one for the parents, because we realize there's a gap. So it's about, I think in a few months it will be out, so that then it can go hand in hand with this one. Yeah.
Now, there's a conversation and a debate that is not so palatable, quite the debate, so to speak. And this is about, sexual orientation. These are adolescents, they're transiting from childhood to adulthood, and here we are looking very confused. There are some quarters that are saying this is right, this is wrong. How do you think we need to tackle this conversation?
Well, the Constitution is very clear on what we are supposed to do about it, and I was trying to avoid that question, by the way. But it's very clear that there are things we can't, of course, go against as government, and we have to follow the constitution, which of course I know you know. But there is a component of intersex. These are children who are born with ambiguous genitalia. They have both the male and the female, and you know that's not their wish. Yes. It needs to be corrected. So our policy, the reproductive health policy, the adolescent health policy allows that when they're at puberty stage, then they can be taken for surgery, because then the body will be, we shall have adjusted to know if they are boys or they're girls. Yeah.
So that is how.
But people tend to confuse between intersex and homosexuality, because the other one now is people just they feel that's what they need, they identify themselves with.
It's a preference.
Yeah.
The other one,
but the other one is it's a medical condition. Yeah.
Now, as we work towards wrapping this conversation, when you talk about as a parent, some children are dealing with sense of identity, and also something that is peer pressure as well as bullying in the schools, and it is really taking a health a toll on them in terms of their health. What would be your advice?
Yeah, my advice, especially to parents, learn to listen to your children, make your children your best friends, and also be close to them and be there for them, listen to them, because if you're so close to them, then you'll be able to know when they're being bullied, and they'll explain to you. And when a child tells you, Mom, I don't want this school, don't brush it off. Try to interrogate and understand what they're going through, because there are so many issues that these children may be facing, but we feel it's so normal. So let's take our time as parents to listen to our children, to respect them, and also to educate them and guide them accordingly.
Now, you've said that particular booklet is free.
It's actually, even that polling is here. I didn't talk about it as stress management, mental health, about cancers. So abstinence, again, why is it very important for them to abstain at that age? I know some people will say we need to give ABC, but abstinence has its own advantages, and especially like they're not exposed to human papilloma virus, which causes cancer, such things. So it's the only method that's 100% sure way of preventing STIs, HIV, and pregnancy.
Is abstinence.
Yeah.
So that particular publication,
so
once
it's
again,
here.
you said it is free?
Yeah, it's free.
And we can download it. Maybe tell us the website, those who are watching from home.
And the website is www.familyhealth.go.ke.
www.familyhealth.go.ke
is here.
.go.ke. Well, it is free. Now
you can also send an email if you have you can send an email to the head drmh.moh@gmail.com.
Yeah. Indeed. Now, there you've heard it there. We're talking about how to build capacity, targeting the demographic. Adolescents, actually, according to the WHO, is age between 10 and 24. I know a majority
and something
of
I forgot to say is also we have a copy for the blind, a braille copy of the same. So even for those schools that have special needs, they can also still access copies and be able to give to their children.
Is it in Swahili and English, or is it purely
in English and Braille?
And Braille.
Yeah.
Is there a time we're going to be translating this from English to Swahili?
Yeah, I think after we disseminate to a number of adolescents, then depending on availability of funds, we can also translate to Kiswahili. Yeah.
That is Mary Magubo, who is an adolescent health expert at the Ministry of Health, indicating that this particular booklet is there for your perusal and for you to build a capacity as a guardian parent, and even for the adolescents, now that you're dealing with so much, including sexual orientation, matters of peer pressure, bullying, and such. Well, it is available on the website that is www, again, at health. Let's have a look at it. Let me have a look at it so that we can give you the right information. That is www, that is www.familyhealth.go.ke. They say information is power. That puts a cap on matters this Sunday Express tonight. Wish you a great evening ahead and a great week. I'm Regina Manyara.